loss prevention guys are the guys they hire at the store. And even I've learned if you work at like Amazon, they hire them to catch people stealing, basically. They are, I have a big theory on them that I'm going to get to here in a second, but I want to ask, June, have you ever had any run-ins with loss prevention?
No, I haven't. So I used to actually work at an Amazon warehouse, but I was just like a sorter. I would just like sort packages on pallets just day in and day out, and my badge would be scanned by like the managers being like, hey, you got to hurry up. You got to scan more packages. You got to put them on the pallets more faster and better. But I never really dealt with like loss prevention or anything like that when I was there.
Did you ever steal from Amazon?
I should have, but I didn't. There's like eyes everywhere. There's like hundreds and hundreds of people.
No,
everywhere.
I mean, I'm a little bit interested when Bryan says that, because when you say Amazon hires, so does that mean in the warehouses those people are working? Okay, so those people would have been there and you would not have even known it, Jude.
Well, I think if I remember correctly, I think they had like a little corner. They had like poles and like metal frames and like tape blocking off their like computer station. Like in my mind, I vividly do remember seeing what was probably loss prevention. Mm-hmm. At least on the floor, which I think there was like 3 people, if I remember correctly, where I was.
So can I ask you, did you ever see any, but were there people there with tactical gear on? Is the question, because that would be the loss prevention guy.
Okay, I think probably, I don't think, because I mean, they could, were they really wearing, is that, because I'm thinking to myself too, loss prevention is also secret shoppers too, right?
Yes, that they do. I mean, but that's so let me give to my theory here real quick. Mm-hmm. That a lot of people are like, are these guys that were, too out of shape to be a cop? And I do think that is one aspect of it. But I think the bigger thing that I noticed after reading this stuff is I think these guys want to be detectives. And they know that they would have to, you'd have to go to the police academy to become a cop.
Yeah, and then you got to deal with Michael Winslow, and he's making all the noises. I'm kidding around. I know what you're talking about.
But you would have to go and become a cop, however long it takes, 90 days, whatever. That's
very quick.
It's quick. But then you would also have to work for the police for a number of years in order to get into being what they believe to be an undercover cop. Like you would become a detective and you would get to dress like a criminal and like get people to sell drugs to you, which maybe happens sometimes, but isn't. But I think these are people with a very like movie painted. It's kind of like they've seen so many movies, much like Chris.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't, but a lot of people who've seen movies they're just normal too.
But they want to be in the movie. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of us do. A lot of us dream of being in the movies, and there's nothing wrong with that. To have be a little boy in Canada and have a dream of making it on the big screen.
Well, these are guys that don't want to be in movies, Chris. They want to be the character in. I'm going to reference a movie that probably neither of you have seen, Deep Cover. They want to be like that, or like one of these, or like New Jack City, and stuff like that. Like they're looking at the guys that go way undercover. And
I understand,
like putting a suit on and shit.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, because of course, maybe some of these people could become cops, but they don't want to just be out walking the street as a cop. They want to be doing the serious work, and this is a way to do it immediately. And also, I would say I've been to some definitely New York City, and I've seen some of the cops there, and they're so out of shape.
I know.
So, I mean, I don't know. You would have to be very out of shape, I think, in certain places to not be able to get on the police force just because.
So basically, they're cops, but instead of getting into the academy and putting in the effort, they just want to make sure you're not stealing like a strawberry.
Exactly. They also just like the absolute most petty shit, like it's completely meaningless. Oh man, I despise people like this. I could not. And Bryan, when you were sharing some of those memes, I had no idea that there was like a culture around this where there's a pride in it and shit. It makes me sick, and I can't wait to hear more about
I've never heard of a culture of this either. I'm fascinated.
I want to say that like Well, first of all, I've learned that there's a culture around everything, but this specific thing is like, I went into this being sort of angry at these people, like you two are, but now that they seem like more pathetic to me